Hello, 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 and hello. My name is Corey Fonville Foster, and I am the owner of iRock Marketable Business Solutions, where we teach leaders how to infuse confidence based learning to foster higher levels of self and team efficacy. Today, I'm super excited because I wanted to do a quick little chat with you guys to talk about the truth behind confidence based learning and its impact on performance. So many people are not even aware of what confidence based learning is. So I said, you know what? Today, I want to do a talk where I just break down the ideas and the methodology that are really behind confidence based learning and how it can really help your students or the people that are on your team at your company, and how using these strategies are really going to make a massive impact for everyone. So I want to start with the quote. I like a good quote. I'm a little corny like that, but I'm going to start with the quote. The moment you doubt whether you can fly, you cease to forever be able to do it. And that's by J.M. Barrie. I love this quote because it reminds me of the fact that when we put limits on ourselves, we've already basically cut ourselves at the knee. We've already given ourselves one strike against us. And we do it subconsciously. We do it so often without even giving it a second thought. We'll say we want to achieve a goal or do something, or we'll say we want to do something by a certain day, and immediately we'll give ourselves reasons why that can't be accomplished. And we don't realize that by doing that, by saying these negative, doubtful things to ourselves, we are making our chances of success so much less. And so we want to change that mindset. I want you to think for a second. Imagine a kid. I have some kiddos and they're the cutest. They're a little older now, but when they were really small, and if you've ever seen a really small child, you know that they're pretty amazing, right? They're pretty amazing. If you really watch them closely, you'll see that the way they view their world is limitless. How often have we, even as parents, said, you can be anything when you grow up? And, the sky's the limit. And we give them such amazing thoughts like, hey, you can be an astronaut, you can be the president, you can be a doctor. You even have kids that say, I want to be a dinosaur. You say, yeah, you can be a dinosaur. And rationale is thrown out the window because in their eyes, they really believe that they can be anything. Right. I wish I could go back to those days of being a kid because I know that because I've grown up and I've learned a little bit. Now I don't just assume I can be anything. I'll say, okay, yeah, I want to be a doctor, but then I start thinking of all the reasons why and the obstacles I'm going to encounter and all the steps I have to take to get to that level, right? But kids aren't like that. If a kid says, you say, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? The kid's going to say, okay, I want to be a doctor. And the kid is already imagining themselves as a doctor. They're not imagining them going to school. They're not imagining them applying to get into residency. They are not imagining applications, finding scholarships, none of that stuff. When a child says they want to be a doctor when they grow up, they are picturing themselves at work with the thermometer and the stethoscope and seeing patients and doing the surgeries and all of the things. They are picturing the outcome, not all the obstacles in the way. I had a kiddo in my family who once told us she wanted to be a mermaid when she grew up. And that was it. Like, again, she's picturing herself in the water, fin and all, and she knew she was going to be a mermaid when she grew up. And it wasn't until one of my family members said, mermaids aren't real. You can't be a mermaid when you grow up. You need a real job. That she was like, oh, like just deflated. Like, oh, I guess I can't be a mermaid. We put limits on her idea of herself. And it really made me sad. And I remember at one point me seeing a video, and because Google's always listening, I'm sure they heard the conversation and was like, oh, we're going to show her this. But I saw a video of some adults in real life who had careers as mermaids. They would go to conventions and they would be at birthday parties and corporate events as mermaids. And I remember showing her the video and her lighting back up saying, you know what? You can be a mermaid. And it was like the world opened back up, the twinkle got back in her eye. And I think that we need to realize, even as adults, we can do that. We can go back to that childlike mind. We don't have to think, what do we want to be when we grow up, and start thinking, well, how much education do I need to get? How much money do I need to have? What are the other obstacles and challenges I'm going to face? Let's just know we're going to do it, visualize it, and make it happen. All right. So I know that's easier said than done. So let's do a quick. I'm gonna be corny for a second. Let's do a quick activity. All right. Let's do a quick activity. And you may have seen this before, but hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I want you to simply look to your left or your right. I don't care which way, but just look as far as you can. So I'm going to look to my right. That's as far as I can go. Okay. And if you want, I think it's even better if you put your arm out to where you look, just so you know exactly how far your head turns. So even if you turn, okay, that's as far as I can go. I'm gonna leave my arm here while I'm talking to you guys. Just no, I'm not gonna move it. All right. Now I want you to close your eyes and I want you to visualize yourself turning your head all the way around, like as far as you possibly could go. Don't worry about how your spine's going to stay attached. Don't worry about if your head's going to fall off your shoulders. Just visualize your head turning as far as it possibly can. And once you close your eyes and you visualize that, I want you then to turn your head as far as you can. If you do that, you will notice you will go even further. And the cool part about this is if you do it a few times, you'll find that you go further and further every single time. Why? Because you believed you could. You visualize it and now you can do it. And so many things are like that in life. Some of you may be thinking, well, that doesn't apply to everything, but what are you doing? You're limiting yourself already. So we do this with our clients. We actually have a framework. It's called the ARC framework. That's ARC. It stands for actions, results, and confidence. Because we really believe that changing one's mindset starts with action, right? I didn't tell you to visualize first. I said, do it, make the action, do it first. We have you take small actions and you're going to see some positive results immediately. We're not going to wait for results. We're going to see them immediately because we want to reward you taking that action. And when you see those positive results, we know what it's going to do. It's going to boost your confidence. You're going to be super excited. You're going to be motivated, and your brain will automatically start making those shifts to know that guess what? You have a higher potential than you thought. You can do more than you thought. We're breaking down those limiting beliefs of yourself. So we took that little bit of action. We're seeing some great results. We're building up that confidence. And then what are we going to do? We're going to ask you to take even more action. And through our ARC method, we found that people's feelings of their self-efficacy and the people around them increases substantially, which then yields a better production. And this doesn't matter if it's in a school setting, whether you're in college, or whether you are in the workforce. We find that people are so much more productive if they use this framework when it comes to their teams, when it comes to their workload, when it comes to any aspects of their life. Okay. Simple enough. You believe me? I hope so. All right. So, if you want to learn more about this ARC framework, or if you want to know more about confidence based learning and how that can increase your productivity, your self efficacy, and those around you, then please leave a comment below this video or definitely reach out to us. We are at iRock Marketable Business Solutions. You can find us on all major platforms, and we would love to talk to you about how we can come in and support your students or your staff, take away their limitations, and build a better, more productive environment. Talk to you guys soon.